Welcome back to the Red Bull Analyst Desk. Fairly stress-free win for Mostly Harmless in Game 1. SUP played fairly well early. It felt like a major turning point was when they had won a couple in a row and had a split-second defend that couldn't have been much closer of a play that put Mostly Harmless up 10-5, and that felt like the dagger right there. They didn't look back. Wilby, you said on stream you were surprised not to see a timeout there from SUP. What do you think that could have done for them to regroup?
Well, I think when you come out to around that close, right? So it was point 0.10 of a second, and that's gonna be hyping up Mostly Harmless. If it were me and I got that, I would feel like amazing. I'd say I made the best play. I'd feel so confident. You have to shut that down. I think it would be less about what you'd see from Sup Buddy, because they were already in a tough predicament. So I feel like they expected to lose the 1v2 or 1v3, but when it's that close, you have to put the opponent who just won, you have to take them down a notch to force them to breathe and take a second, because they're just gonna run up on that adrenaline, on that energy, and it's not good for a team like Mostly Harmless to have that type of energy backing them, especially when they're up by 5-6 rounds at that point.
I should mention as well, we have Guz joining us here on the analyst desk as well. We're going to bind round two. I'll ask you first, Guz. What can you expect from bind here?
Well, we were seeing a lot of the Astra meta coming out from both teams on the Ascent map. So I'm assuming that we're going to bring that back because she is such a strong agent. I'm also expecting to see Streets on Sova as well, and Ian is probably going to pull out the Jet again. So we could see some pretty crazy plays coming out from those three.
We're going to go now quick to our second No Frills player to watch segment tonight. We're going to take a look at Issy. Issy on Sub Buddy. Favorite agent, Sage. Favorite weapon is Spectre. And Bind is Izzy's favorite map, so we'll see if he's able to take advantage in this second game. He says their biggest strength has to be Drazo Sova. He says they know they're in tough tonight and Mostly Harmless is pretty OP, but they just need to play around with it and stick together while sticking to their game. So they are going to Bind now. It's their map. Can we expect this to go to game 3? I'll ask you, Sonic, what do you think? Do you think they're able to tie this thing up in game 2?
Oh, Sonic, you're muted.
Uh, sorry about that. I think Sup Buddy's gonna pull something out of the hat and tie it up. They're on the brink of elimination, so it's a one or done deal. It's a must-win map.
Yeah, exactly. And being that it is must win, Wilby, I'll ask you, do you expect Sup Buddy to change much of the game plan we saw from them in the first game?
I don't think so. I think Sup Buddy didn't come into this unprepared. I just feel that Mostly Harmless were on their game and they were playing really well. And I think Sup Buddy, yeah, I didn't really see any dumb mistakes out of them, which is kind of what I'd be critical on. I feel like they played about as well as they could given the scenario. And I think if they play maybe the same type of reservation, but have a little more bursts of aggression, especially on a map like Bind, where I mean, we saw Streets on Mostly Harmless get behind Sup Buddy quite a bit as Sova. Not necessarily sitting there always lurking, but ever so often he'd go and he'd get a frag or two, and that's what's important. So I think as long as they do that and keep really good, really tight map control, I think they have a chance. But if we see darts coming out left, right, and center to give away their positions, I know most armors going to capitalize on that. So you can't get caught out being too aggressive.
Yeah, I don't think they should get too aggressive. It seemed like Mostly Harmless just kind of fed off of not doing anything crazy, sitting back, kind of letting the game come to them and just executing their plays.
Absolutely.
So I
Think we're almost about good.
Yeah,
Are we
I think
done?
we're gonna head back into game 2. We'll maybe just quickly get some predictions here. Do you guys all think this is going to game 3, or are we gonna get this one over in game 2? Guz, I'll come to you first.
From what I've seen just from game one, I'm kind of assuming that sort of Ian and the boys are going to come through with this win here just because of how confident they are and how methodical they play with all of their with all of their team play and their strats that they run. They seem to be a very good counter for the kind of more aggressive SUP buddies. And I think that just overall, unless SUP buddy can really change and sort of affect how Mostly Harmless is playing the rounds, I think that Mostly Harmless will probably have this one in the bag too.
All right, Sonic.
Um, well, I think SUP Buddy's going to be fighting for their life, so I mean, I'm going to think it's a close. I think it's going to be a close game. Maybe 14-12 OT. Safe bet.
And Wilby, final thoughts before we kick it back.
I think deep down, I think most Arm is going to take this probably like a 13-8, but uh, I kind of want to say that it'll be close on Sup Buddy and they're going to take this map because I want to see Breeze, but I got to go with the Ian and the boys, especially with the way they played before. I feel like they're not here to mess around. They're here to win, and I hadn't seen that much reservation out of them in a long time, and it really worked out in their favor, so I'm expecting the same thing.
All right. Well, we are going to get ready now for game 2. We'll be back at the Red Bull analyst desk after this one. Will it be for a game 3, or will we be wrapping up and previewing the finals? We're going to find out. I guess we have a little bit more time to kill before the game. Oh no. Okay, now we are getting into it.
Just got into agent select.
Just got going. All right, guys, enjoy game 2.
Thanks so much, Dom. All right, so we are in agent select here on Bind. With me casting now is going to be Guzman, formerly known as Guz, formerly playing on signing mouse pads in Counter-Strike era. But now he is coach for Cloud9. Guzman, some insight on Bind. What are some maybe things you want to see out of high-level players?
Well, one thing I really want to see, I'm not kind of expecting to see it, would be kind of what team was it? Hiko's team. I think it's 100 Thieves. What they do is they'll run either a Breach or an Omen running towards B long with a Killjoy. They will throw an alarm bot towards the end of B long and wait for that alarm bot to go off, and there will be a flash that actually will come down B long, and it flashes everything down there. So what they'll do is they'll swing off of that. I really hope that someone on one of these two teams is going to bring that out. Just Breach is such a good pick for this map, especially because of how much control he can get you of the map, as well as how much aggression he can show, right?
Do you think it's kind of concerning we don't see a Breach coming out on Mostly Harmless, and instead we see a Reyna with shootable 2 flashes?
Yeah, actually. One thing that I also noticed is that I think Sup Buddy is not even running a Sentinel. Oh, actually they got a Viper, so she's not too bad for that, but not
There's
really
no
much
heals.
of a no heals again for the Sup Buddy team. It's gonna be kind of rough.
See this here though. Setup wise, looks like we have a nice B stack coming out of Mostly Harmless. I mean, maybe they're gonna do the Reyna flash at the same thing, but I
What I'm
think
thinking is it's gonna be long aggression here with the Silva Dart. That's
Go
something
off
that
that.
Mostly Harmless likes to patent, you know?
that recon bolt actually. Oh, Cube was a really nice frag, and a Cologne cubed on another frag onto Issy. That aggression did work out. I was gonna say the recon bolt didn't, but Cubed did. Streets with a nice 2-piece there, leaving Delphiki on the Viper. 1 versus 5. What do you do in this situation? Just try to get exits and hope you can one-tap them?
Yeah, honestly, he doesn't really have a lot of his util since he uses wall out on A already too. He kind of just has to go for a few picks here, try to take as many 1v1 engagements as he can. And still going to try to take the first one onto the Reyna. And he's going to get taken out by online.
Glenn cleaning up what his team left over. Mostly Harmless with a quick pistol round. That aggression, you're right. That aggression B long does seem very, signature mostly harmless. I feel like sticking as a team, you see it a lot. You see the retakes, they group up and they go as a team. So why am I surprised that they did it on CT side pistol round?
Yeah, they really like to stick together as a team, especially on their pistol rounds. I remember in Season 1 when we used to play against them. It's kind of rough whenever they would do that. Not much you could do, You're just not expecting 4 people to push out B long, right?
Exactly, but having them in Valorant is a lot different. Because you have a lot more utility and that kind of stuff. Different player or agent abilities and all that. So maybe to give other teams maybe a little bit more of the advantage. But from what we've seen, doesn't really seem like it. A lot of util coming out. We see a couple Nebulas, a nice one-way coming out on short, and the group up of SUP Buddy in U-Haul. Drazo is pushed forward. I think Online expects, but I don't think he's expecting him being right in the corner there. Elfiki about to put up his wall, and is he waiting for that flank? Streets about to go for that recon bolt. They're expecting this to be. I mean, the read is there for mostly Harmless. Now it's definitely there, but for a second, somebody could have capitalized.
Yeah, I'm really starting to think that they should have shown a little bit more aggression here towards A, because it's pretty evident now that with no noise coming out from the attackers that it's going to be a fake, right? So as you can see, like, they're coming back towards the A site. Try to sell the double fake, I guess.
Cubed. Delphigi with a big whiff there. You see Ian getting a frag on a near. Kaloy answers back on Ian, leaving Issy in a 1 versus 3 here. Dizzy with the peak.
Yeah, not much you can do there.
No, and that's kind of the thing is I was saying, like, keeping really tight map control, because they didn't. So I mean, luckily we didn't see mostly Harmless push that and come up from behind. The best we had was Issy sitting back short waiting for flank, and I mean that's kind of what you need, but have him close so we can push up. But am I crazy thinking that they just completely whiffed that fake, right? Like, they went silent, but they went silent for way too long.
Yeah, way too long. Either they gotta fully commit on the space and then rotate out as quick as they can, or they just gotta commit on the space for the sake of the site, right? Because they invested so much util into that site with no map control to show.
And that's it. And then you have a single. I think it was a single breach flash coming out on truck from Issy, just trying to, get the raise out. But either way, it seems like they're just scrimming out this A site as well. No trades. Should I say that? On Klein taking out Drazo. Ian playing on stage actually. Yeah. Is he going for the spray here? Does he know Issy's in the corner?
I like how they're going for bathroom control early into the round. That's really important. Yeah, Issy's just gonna get picked off for free here. Yeah, and there's that rotate coming in from streets. He kind of has an idea that they want to end off with B here, right? Because they have so much presence on A.
Yeah. As somebody who's only can play on bind, there's a corner. Nice strike coming out of Q. Nice little 2-piece onto the pistols. But there's a little corner over outside of B. This is laboratory over here, right in the doorway on the right hand side. You sit in that corner of lab and you can hit outside showers, short, mid, long B, A rushes, inside showers, all a bunch of lineups there. So the fact that Streets is kind of hovering back in CT, it seems like he's in and around there. I mean, like, I don't see him shooting any bolts from there, but it is a good spot because regardless of how he uses it, he can take a couple steps, chuck a recon bolt over the map wall and get info on a site. So really nice to see that he's not out there trying to commit and get frags, even though he's a big fragger here. On Galine actually getting pushed back, and Drazo. That was a really nice combo coming out from SUP Buddy.
Yeah, they're coming out with a lot more aggression here. They call all the rotates over towards A, and they're actually going to try to take the teleport with B. Oh, and that's Astra up in there. Yeah, he's going to get 3 there.
He's gonna get the 4th. I feel it. I'm surprised he's not pushing him. It's 4v1. He's got low HP. Of course, the street's just lurking, waiting for the frag. Oh no, the
Oh,
timing! I think he's gonna knife him.
That's rough, buddy.
Oh. Streets comes around the corner. What's up, buddy? Pop, pop. It's 4-0 though for mostly Harmless, and yeah, they're cubed. I'm surprised, man. Killjoy was not your color, not your play. I think Cube should have been Resident Reina from day one, but still got the dub nonetheless. All sheriffs coming out on SUP Buddy.
Online's going to pick off Delphiki towards A short.
He ready with a flash.
But just look how they're mostly Harmless. How they're playing. They're really just playing off the information that they get and playing together as a team. Like, Ian gets picked off there and Online swings right away to get the trade.
That's what you have to do. You have to be, and that's just not Valorant. That's all right. Timeout actually coming from the attackers here. We've got a minute here.
I think they really need to make some adjustments here. Yeah, nothing they've tried so far has really been working. If you look, like, mostly Harmless has just been reading them every single round. Anytime they try to make a play or make a rotate, mostly Harmless is just making the call that, yeah, guys, they're not really coming here. Let's rotate around. And it's just every single time, whoever their IGL is should actually get applauded right now. It's kind of crazy.
I can't remember who they had as IGL. If I'm not mistaken, I thought they switched callers depending on kind of what they were feeling, but might be lying about that. I just think they've played together so often, right? Like games like they played CS, and now we're getting intel. Maybe I think it's Ian. Ian's calling everything. So I mean, you know, there you go, being able to manage your players. We saw that with their CS coordination as well. So as I was saying, you wouldn't not expect them to play like that in Valorant. I feel like it's natural at this point, right? Like you call, say, hey, come over here, come grab come grab this angle, come trade me out. He gets 2, which makes it so much easier for Ongline, right? So
yeah, they just have that team coordination that you can't really teach, you know.
Yeah, Wes, I'll just hop in here quick. Ian told me before the match that he is their IGL.
Perfect. All right, so we heard it here first from Dom. Getting that insider info that Ian is calling for mostly Harmless here. So maybe even though it does, it did seem like they played a lot of defaults, maybe that was, coming out.
Yeah, look at how much information they're getting towards B right now. They went for an early B stack, mostly Harmless, and now that they have control of the entirety of B, they're just gonna start stacking over towards A. And they're just ready for the take. Look, A Dizzy is gonna get the lurk kill onto Kaloy, and Drazo's gonna try to get the trade onto Online. Look at this wall coming in again.
Beautiful frag onto near. this showstopper coming up from Jerezo. Jerezo taking out Cubed, and Delphiki taking out Dizzy. Ian, another showstopper coming from on blind, a 3-on-2, unable to connect anything. On those for the fragment of Delphiki. And we see Issy left in a 1 versus 2 clutch situation here, flash on Issy. The big frag onto Ongline. Ian able to take him out. 3 kills and enough time to defuse. Just getting it. This is the second time they've got it under a second this evening.
The amount of ults that came out that round was crazy. I think we saw a Viper ult, we saw 2 Raze ults coming out as well, and a Sage Res too.
Yeah.
So definitely not a cheap round for Mostly Harmless, but they still have the econ advantage as well as the ult advantage here too.
I do like the barrier orb that Ian threw up in the A site to be able to get on top of boxes, and then the 2 showstoppers coming out inside that Viper's pit. It was probably, other than like a recon bolt, like it's not. It's probably about the best you can do, especially for large scale, area clearing. And yeah, Mostly Harmless come out to get the 6th round, but it did seem a lot better coordinated by SUP Buddy. So I guess the timeout maybe did help. Being said, Dizzy taking out 2, leaving SUP Buddy with 2. Slowing it right down. Boy, the only one towards B. Issy going for the flash. Ian is going for the race car peak. Ian taking him out. Only Ongline dying, and that's the 7th for Mostly Harmless.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. Just seems like every time, like, Mostly Harmless, they're just going for like early B long and B control in general, and it doesn't seem like somebody can really stop that. I think they should try something else, maybe like try for a go fast A.
Yeah, I feel like their defaults aren't working well. Like I don't know, something like this. Like they need to combo coming up. Like I get it. They're breach on, like they're just doing the same thing. They're hanging around short, getting picked off one by one. I want to see a combo breach coming up mid through hookah. I want to see breach, concuss through the wall. I want to see a flash hit up in there, and I want them to push it in, and then go through the Astra util on B. Like, it's not gonna hurt you know what I mean? I feel like this is
The only
kind
thing
of
with the Astra utilities is super dangerous, especially since they have things like the jumpers and the nades that can come out, and especially when online is just an aimer like that towards A site. They do get site control though, but look at this rotate coming in for Mostly Harmless. They're all already there, ready to take the site back, denying the plans. Nice shock dart lineup coming up from Streets. He's gonna pick up the Lloyd. Cube's gonna get another pick into U-Haul. It's all down to Near, and he's gonna get picked off by Cube. Was that a PK from Cube?
I think you grabbed 2 there, but still clearing house with that Devour, getting some extra HP, extra little bit of confidence on the swing, and that's the power of what healing can do, right? Cubed, top of the scoreboard, but no longer the only one there. We have Ongline and Ian both at 10 kills. You have $, Streets and Dizzy at 6 and 4 respectively, and then we have Drezo and Issy at 4 frags, but at 8-0, it's kind of tough, and I thought they'd come into this, with new energy, but maybe they're a little exhausted, like this, like they don't have their. Why is the breach not up at hookah with them? It's a buy. You know what I mean? Like you utilize this agent that you have to clear these close spots. I think a Raze nade is more useful nading back CT or inside site. Cubed and Dizzy though, nice crossfire here, getting 2. Issy and Near though, getting 2 as well. Ian making it man advantage for Mostly Harmless. We're gonna see an ult coming out from Issy, most likely out of elbow.
He held it too long. I don't think he's gonna catch it. Oh, yeah, he does catch it.
Ooh,
Just
nice
like
frags.
that, this round is winnable for them. You can't count
Absolute-
on lying out because he's still
He
got
is the showstopper. Yep.
They tried something fast and it actually ended up in their favor. They were walking into a stack, so I didn't expect them to do anything, but just beautiful trade kills coming out from SUP Buddy.
Yeah, it's I think somebody we're quick on. The quick trades is what got them. I don't think anything inherently was. I mean, I like their site take and their commitment to it, that they didn't just fall and get picked one by one. But at the same time, I just feel like they traded them out. Once again though, like, I mean, you were saying Breach is good on CT side coming out for like a long B flash, right? But like this, like, why is the Breach pushing up first and with flash out in hand? There's no coordination, you know? Like I don't know. Am I being too critical? Is
No,
that
100%? They had the right idea there, but the only issue was that I personally believe. So if you look at how mostly Harmless have been playing this, is they've been playing heavy B long control. So what I'm assuming is that SUP Buddy has had the read on that, so they're trying to use their breach flashes to push them out back into the B site so they can take control of that map back, right? But the problem with that is that they're just sort of sending Breach out into no man's land with no support at all and just the flashes out in his hand, right? So they have the right ideas there to try to push mostly Harmless out and deny them that map control, but they need to be having a little bit more coordination with how they're doing it, if that makes sense.
I completely agree. I think that they, yeah, I don't think that their read is bad. I just think, yeah, it is coordination. I can't say it better, man. I completely agree. Maybe that's why I'm so critical, because I've seen the coordination there. Pushed up into Garden already, though. We see all of mostly Harmless here now. Durezo getting a frag on the streets, and there we go. We see jumps through the teleports out of SUP Buddy, and Delphiki still waiting on this B site. Nice frag onto Ian. After the resurrection, though, which is still tough, but evens up the player count. Coming out, and Ongline taking out Issy.
That Viper ult is so annoying to play against, especially on a replay. Delphiki, all he needs to do is just play his util and he can win this round for them. Yeah, and there's the Molly coming out.
Delphiki with the ace.
That was a crazy round.
I didn't really expect SUP Buddy to take that, but Delphiki with the Viper's Pit outside showers, he's done that a couple times, and this time it actually worked.
Yeah, the theory is, if you think about it, right, they're forced to push into your Viper ult, right? So they're all going to be 1 HP when they try to defuse. So all you got to make sure is that your Snake Bite's just down on the bomb, and as soon as they tap the bomb, they're just gone.
Yes, exactly, and that's, I mean, that's the annoying but the best part about Viper, right? You can utilize the post plan so strong. I think Delphiki obviously knows that and is trying to play to that, but yeah, I think they did a really good job with it. I just want to keep seeing that, right? I want to see some lineups. I want to see the combos coming out of those two, like out of Issy and Delphiki. I feel like they have the ability to really push most rounds back, maybe at least a couple rounds.
Yeah, and that's the issue too, is that Viper is not going to have her ult out 100% of the time, right? So you can't really count on those to kind of carry you through a game.
Mm-hmm. That's it. It's great for a round, you know, like kind of like Killjoy, right? Same vibe. You have, you know, an ult that can essentially take a site, and but you don't have it every round. And looks like finally, about 30 seconds here, we see somebody group up and going along B. Are they actually gonna sit B though? Probably here. Oh, we see the showstopper coming out of Terezo. He's gonna be pushing in. Streets down to 1 HP, and we see flash come into Issy, able to take out Streets. Ian and on the line in a 2 versus 5. Issy and Ian are both getting frags. Clear up the round flawless. That's the type of SUP buddy execute I want to see. That was really nice to see. Probably in the 3rd round for the end of the half.
Yeah, they definitely needed to bring that a little bit sooner, but better late than never, I guess, right?
Who knows? Maybe they're a CT-sided team on Bind, right? Who knows? We'll see though.
Yeah, especially with their comp. Their comp is pretty strong towards the CT side. I know that Astra and Sova, as well as Raze, are pretty good defenders on Bind, so we'll see what they can come up with.
Yeah, a little bit of info mid. Cube fell back, but they're 3 aggress. Actually, looks like he's just sitting market. That's shower control, getting those alt orbs. Mostly Harmless are playing the long game.
Yeah, that's that methodical sort of playstyle we like to see for Mostly Harmless. See, if you can look at it, just sort of how SUP Buddy's playing this, they don't seem very confident. As you can see, like the Breach and the Raze are sort of hovering towards CT, sort of like that gold strat where you just sit and spawn and figure out where they're running to, right?
Yep. Oh wow. All right, and we thought On Gline and Ian had the dual agent set up on short, but there we go. That's near. You're clearing it out. Actually, yeah, it was near getting the 3rd on there. That was a beautiful, beautiful setup. Yeah, I didn't expect them to get that. Those were really nice frags.
Yeah.
No, good job. Somebody really held it down. I'm impressed. But pistol round is pistol round for a reason, right?
100%.
Make sure you don't lose the.
To see what Mostly Harmless is going to do here on this sort of eco buy. I think they're going to try to play for more orb control this round.
Really nice long the aggression. That's they used the Mostly Harmless strat against them. That was really nice, except they used the Breach instead of a Sova.
Yeah, that's that thing that's really good with Breach. Is she's so good at just taking the aggression and denying like the sight, you know. You want to play through the whole game.
You know where he is, sitting in the corner. You hear the recon bolt coming out just to BM a little bit, and it's the 5th round for SUP Buddy.
But now they're going to be forced on a bonus, I'm pretty sure, here, and then looks like Mostly Harmless is going to go for a full buy, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they're going to get the 10th on this, unless something happens.
Yeah, what I would probably do here is I would probably throw for some like A aggression here, just from like early bath aggression, you know what I mean? Especially with the way they're throwing that Viper wall. You want to force kind of close range engagements against these rifles.
I think using Astra, maybe doing like a gravity well, or you know, throwing up I wouldn't say a smoke, probably a gravity well to kind of pull them off the angle. Something like that, and then pushing up with Viper, even with the one-way, right? Since you have control over, actually, I like that. I like the gravity well up top. Since you have control over it, you can drop that one-way whenever you want. So I think playing off of that a bit more, as opposed to just letting them get up. Like, look, Long Blind's already made its way up, and I mean, yeah, you didn't use the boom bot, but okay, there we go. You know, so playing reactionary. With the combo, I do like that. All right, exactly what I was saying, but most Harmless is baiting it out now.
actually gonna try to full commit towards B here. But the execute is coming out towards A. A little bit of a misread coming out from SUP Buddy. He's gonna get the first pick onto Delphiki, and that's pretty much the whole A site for mostly Harmless. Yeah, that was a bit of a miscommunication coming out there.
No ults on the side of SUP Buddy available.
Yeah, and they're on those sort of mixed buys.
Frag. But no match for the rest, so mostly Harmless. That is the 10th round as predicted. And we're gonna see SUP Buddy on quasi buy. 3 rifles, 2 pistols.
It's kind of rough.
At that point though, like on last round, if you have to rebuy on like your SMG your second round, right? Like going into the third, just buy a deagle at that point,
Yeah.
and then buy, play for the second. Because the rest of your team's that, you don't have to get a Spectre. Just try to go for frags. You'll probably die anyways with a Spectre against full buys, right? So I feel like there's other ways you could play with the economy. Because look, Issy's stuck with the Sheriff sitting in the corner.
I wouldn't
like
count out issues Sheriff, though. I've seen a few clips from them.
Fair. Yeah, you're right. But I do like the crossfire they have with Drazo as well. At least we'll have one of the rifles over here. Just yeah, I hope it's not so much of a one and done spot.
I don't think the Silvers are actually caught anybody other than that ratio bot. But look how much util is coming into Hookah here. Looks like that the Harmless have Hookah control.
The line actually able to get that wall bang onto Issy. Drazo stuck in a very precarious predicament. Yep. They went quiet. They went slow. And the
Look at
rotate
this
away.
cut noise and re-hit combo.
Yep.
Keeping them on their toes. Mostly Harmless is going to go out for the site state here.
Snakebite's going out. I think that was a lineup, but it does not deny plant on default. We see Ian going for that default plant, but Street's holding down the CT push here onto Nier and Delphiki, leaving Kalo in a 1 versus 3. Recon bolt ready in 15 seconds, but he has to go for the frag. Gets one. Thinks one's gonna be towards guard. He has to make this move. He knows he doesn't have enough time to wait on it. Oh, Dizzy's baiting the footsteps, and Street's gonna work off that easy. No, he knows he's here. He knows he's. Why would you do it on the guy you don't have eyes on? Like, I'm not the one playing. You know, I can't. Nice. Oh no, he doesn't have time.
Still a nice play, though.
Nice play. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. Mostly just nerves, I think, coming out from somebody.
Right? I know, and that's the tough part, because like he had that. I was waiting for his recon to come out. He throw that towards Garden. He saw Streets is coming out of CT. So at that point, like I feel like you're already holding that angle. You know he's there. Just you'll be able to hear him run up. You have cover from inside tube and on the left as well. So, but it's easier to say it than actually do it. But the aggression you were talking about coming out of Breach, actually taking some quick A aggression, looks to be exactly what stuff that you're doing.
Yeah, but that Astra slow is just gonna stop that push completely. Results kind of gets weighted very short.
Yeah.
That's another thing too that I haven't really liked about the new meta lately is that with Astra and how her slows and how her combos can work, so crazy stuff that you can do, it's so hard to just play in angles. Like it's not even worth contesting Hookah anymore on bind. Most teams will usually just give it up.
The thing with it though is like I feel like There's keeping an Astra busy is kind of what you got to do, right? You have to make them not able to execute their util, or make it really difficult where they have to go, and sure they can set up, right? But they still have to be active with it. If you, ooh, Drazo with nice frags onto both Dizzy and on Glyme. But Streets actually on the Dalfiki. CQ pushing all the way through, trying to get a tag onto Issy, cannot do it. Lloyd. The Owl Drone coming out through U-Haul end. A B site is all mostly harmless.
A little bit of a melee right there.
Nice, well played. Very well played, Kaloy. So, I think I like that Astra's becoming, you know, like, there's new Astra meta, right? That's kind of changing the way you can play the game, but I feel like it's still, I don't know, unless you're really good with Astra, I find that players are still, like, fumbling around with her, because she is still kind of so new, right? But you see really nice plays in like, pro games with Astra, so I feel like there's definitely ways to be impactful with her, and I feel like she's probably, you know, is about as overpowered as old Raze was. But, you know, I think that she's just a different type of agent that we haven't seen before, and utilizing her, I think, with the combos you were talking about, is the best way to do it. I would love to see an Astra Breach combo. That would be fire. 2 concusses coming out, you know what I mean? Stuff like that.
The thing too is with Astra, like a lot of the issues with Astra get mitigated and a lot of sort of like communication, right? Like if you have trouble with keeping the Astra busy, all she needs to do is put one of her sort of stars everywhere on the map and just not trigger anything until some move is made and someone calms it, and it's like, oh well, we're all getting sucked right here, and oh, we're getting mated too on top of that, you know, like it just slows down the game so much, and that's why I find her so annoying to play.
Viper and Astra, 2 agents that are unbelievable. Even I'd go up against a Breach, you know, but like Viper is probably my top most annoying agent. Astra right up there with, especially with the gravity well. Like I love that ability, but I also hate that ability because it's so annoying.
Yeah. See, at least with Viper, like, you know, you can sort of keep track of her stuff, right? Like, you can sort of have that internal timer of when her smokes and her walls are gonna run out, and like
Snake
stuff
bites
like
run
that.
out, yeah.
But with Astra, you keep guessing too, because like the smokes, when she pulls them away, there's a solid 3 seconds where they get trigger, and you're like, oh well, they're here, they come, they're executing. It's like, never mind, guys, you're not executing. She just pulled their stars away. Yeah, pretty nice execute B coming here.
That's nice try. Ooh, try from Dalfiki. Ian was right back and dropped the deal on Kaloy. I was gonna say it was a nice try coming out of near from CT, but unfortunately was unable to make it happen. We're on match point.
Yeah. They were starting to pick it up a little bit more towards the defense, but not enough, I guess. They're still in this 100%. Anything can happen, especially when these teams are so close for most of these rounds, right? Like, at least for this side anyway, but
I think that first half just had them shook, you know what I mean? Like, they went 8 rounds, 9 rounds before winning. No, it was 8 rounds, yeah. But it's still, like, that's gotta affect your mental really badly.
oh, 100%, yeah. You can kind of see it in how they were playing too. Like, they didn't even try anything new unless it was towards the end, right? Like, that's when they started going a little bit more aggressive, but yeah.
Well, it's almost like the way that you'd play on like your alt accounts or something, you know. Even if it's ranked the same, you just play different on an alt, right? You don't care as much. You don't. And I feel like you start like obviously there's a point where you have to play smart. There's also a point where you have to try things, right? You have to trust yourself, trust your shot, trust your your game sense, and I feel like it's tough to do that when you're 8-0 up against guys who just keep steamrolling you, and no, I'm not encouraging smurfing. And I'm saying if your alt is on your same rank, Sonic, your alt is the same rank. I've had that before where, you just play a little different when you loosen up, right? But either way, boy, got a real loose, and a Dizzy takes him out. Ooh.
That Sage Red coming out. Still doable. They have 2 ults here. Well, like Not Vanish and Light Effect take off Drazo.
Ian Delphiki left in a 2v2 against Ian and Streets. Ian getting concussed, leaving Streets in a 1 versus 2 clutch situation here. Streets, no utility after being does to go. Delphiki. Map and a match point here is he has to push it, he has to go. He has his util. Oh, I thought SU was gonna clear out that box. GG to mostly harmless. 13-7 here on Bind. We are not going to breach, but we are going back to the Red Bull analyst desk. Dom, Sonic,